Hi, this is Candace. I'm going to be talking about the bigger picture of instruction assessment and how the observational assessment method fits into it. And I'm going to use Kirkpatrick's training evaluation model as a way to explore this idea. So if, like me, you are not familiar with this model, Donald Kirkpatrick developed this idea back in 1959, and it was to help trainers measure the effectiveness of their training. If you think about it, library instruction one-shots have a lot of similarities to professional training. In a professional training setting, the trainers show up. They may have an hour, they may have a day, they might have a couple of days with the people in a workforce. They train them in a specific area and they send them on their way, and it's very unlikely that they actually see what happens after they leave. So you can see how there are definitely similarities to a lot of our one-shot sessions. And so one thing that I took from the training literature in my research was this idea of the Kirkpatrick training evaluation model. So in the classic Kirkpatrick model, it's set up like a pyramid. Foundational at the bottom is the reaction. How did the trainees react to the training? And this helps you understand how well it was received. This is really important because if the participants hated the session, nothing above it is really going to stick. Next on the pyramid is learning. How has knowledge increased? Then is behavior, how the trainees apply the information after the training. And up at the tippy top will be the results, how this benefits the larger organization. And when this was initially presented, one was leading to the other, and it was often interpreted as meaning that as the levels increased, that indicated more importance. And I'll get back to that idea, but what I first want to do is show you how Dominique Turnbow, who's an awesome librarian at UC San Diego, interpreted the classic model for information literacy and one-shots. So she took that same breakdown, level 1 reaction, level 2 learning, level 3 behavior, level 4 results, and broke it into two different categories. One is what can we actually expect to be able to evaluate for a one-shot instruction? And she argues that we really can only look at level 1, the reaction, how satisfied are learners with the lesson, and level 2, learning, what have students learned at the very end of the one-shot. Those we can evaluate and assess. The level 3 and level 4, the behavior, what do learners apply in practice, and level 4, are learners information literate as a result. Those are really important, but they're not things that we can capture at the end of a one-shot, right? Not at the end of 50 minutes or an hour and 15, we can't do some kind of test and say, now are you information literate? Or can we say, all right, at this point, show me how you're going to put your bibliography together? Right, those are longer terms, and one of the challenges with that is the farther you get away from the one shot, the less realistic it is to say that the one shot was the defining point that changed level 3 and level 4 behaviors. So the Kirkpatrick model, level 1 reaction, how was the training, and learning, did the students acquire the intended knowledge, skills, and attitudes, are really good fits for the observational assessment. The observational assessment, of course, focuses on the one shot, so it makes sense that it fits in with the level 1 and level 2. I do want to point out that the New World model of the Kirkpatrick model, rather than looking at it as a pyramid, has developed it into a chain. And I really like this chain because it shows you that each level is worthwhile and they're still linked together, but no longer has that increasing in importance as it goes up that the pyramid had, and I encourage you to think of it that way. A lot of times librarians think, oh, I want to show that my session made the students information literate. That's not really realistic in a one-shot. If you think about any one-day workshop that you went to, did it change your life in a fundamental way? It'd be very hard to measure that. Level 3, when you're looking at applying behavior, you can go back and collect the bibliographies of the students who were in your session. But let's say you have your library instruction session in October, and then in December you collect the bibliographies. You really have no way of knowing if it was the October session that led to the work that they handed in December. Just an example, I teach a credit class. It's not related to the library. It's just a regular kind of writing class. And I have a research paper, and a student who got an A on the paper actually was absent on the day I brought them in for the library one-shot, and she set up an appointment with the reference desk and got help that way. So even if you looked at her bibliography at the end, it would score really highly in information literacy, but it actually was not indicative of anything having to do with the one-shot. And that sounds a little depressing. So what I really want to focus on here is know that level 1 and level 2 are really important and really helpful in making your one-shots more effective. And when you're talking about observational assessment with outsiders, make sure that they understand this is part of a bigger picture of assessment. And hopefully your university is doing some kind of level 3, level 4 assessment, maybe within the library, maybe outside the library. And so observational assessment is not a silver bullet, but is a very important piece of the puzzle.